What's going on, guys? It's Troydan here, and today we'll be watching the top 10 biggest draft busts in NBA history. And I swear to gosh, if he is here, he will not be here because is that Zion? I just noticed Zion was right. Pelicans are going all the way, man. The Pelicans are such a good team. It's so good to see. I've been a fan since I was just a wee little one of the Pelicans, and it's finally coming together. I have not seen this. Link in the description below. Make sure to sub 3 to 9 times. Go.
9 draft picks are like a double-edged sword. If they're spent wisely, any franchise can become a contender.
He ain't no draft picks.
If the franchise
bust.
Up the
He ain't no draft bust.
They'll miss one of the few
Booker
chances
T?
to make their team
Oh, it's Greg Oden.
leaving them stuck in the mud and ridiculed by the world. In this video, we'll talk about those instances
Anthony
where
Bennett
GMs screwed up badly. Here are the 10 biggest NBA draft busts ever.
Let's do it. Number 10, I swear.
Number 10, Adam Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Morrison always looked like a really tall member of a punk band. But when he was at Gonzaga, that long hair and thin mustache was averaging 28 points per game.
He was the Lakers.
He
was terrible.
For the NCAA Player of the Year.
I've played better than he
does.
does.
Third draftee to shake David Stern's hand in the 2006 draft. And Charlotte hoped he'd be their franchise player for the next decade. But he wasn't. Morrison shot just 37% from the field as a rookie. And it was obvious he'll never come close to his college numbers.
Why?
It was straight downhill from there.
What happened with him?
Adam blew out his knee in season 2. And he returned. He was a shell of the player that once led the NCAA in scoring. He won 2 titles with the Lakers in 09 and 10, warming the bench.
I didn't know he was on that team
he was
for that time.
At that point, after which he retired at the age of 25.
Lucky.
Number 9.
Listen, no, hold on. Derek Williams. Listen, draft bust or not, 2 championship rings, retired at 25. That's a dub. That's a dub.
Williams was the 2nd pick in the 2011 draft, and he was drafted ahead of Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, and Kawhi Leonard, among other players who all had better careers. Williams is a prime example of a highly athletic player who shined in college just because he was more physically talented than everybody. Once he got to the NBA, where everyone is athletic, the truth was soon out, and it was ugly. Williams couldn't shoot, he couldn't dribble, and he couldn't defend. Apart from a few highlights, Williams didn't produce much and showed almost no improvements in his game. After bouncing around the NBA, he's now playing overseas, even though he's still in his 20s. Number 8.
Make a comeback.
LaRue Martin. LaRue Martin was another successful college player who simply wasn't good enough for the pros. Drafted 1st overall in the NBA and 3rd overall in the ABA, Martin was considered the worst number 1 pick for a long time. He was selected by the Portland Trailblazers in 1972, whose scouts saw Martin in 2 college games.
He looked like a poor man's Dr. J's.
To draft him in front of future Hall of Famers Bob McAdoo and Julius Erving. When he came to the NBA, it was apparent that he could not play, and that he's more suited for minor leagues. Despite being a 6'11 center, LaRue shot just 41.6% from the field for 5
That's a special kind of suck. Being that tall at that time in basketball, like that, you suck.
Per game.
You
After
actually
4
suck.
years, he was out of the league and retired from basketball after rejecting multiple offers from Europe. Number 7. Hasheem Thabeet. 2009 was one of the last years the NBA GMs still search for dominant centers that can battle in the post against the behemoths that were Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, or Dwight Howard. And Hasheem Thabeet, a 7'3" center, had plenty to offer to those GMs. At least on paper. He was extremely athletic and mobile for that size and length, and had half the NBA drooling over his defensive potential. Unfortunately, his basketball skills were far below his athletic gifts. And Thabeet proved to be a player with arguably the lowest basketball IQ to ever play in the NBA. Thabeet later admitted he only started playing ball after his growth spurred, and that his only interest in the game was because he thought he could get drafted and make money. Memphis
keeping it 100 thieves.
2nd pick on a player that never averaged more than 3.1
look at him,
in a season. And Thabeet was out of the league after 5 years.
That's still him.
Number 5. Sam Bowie and Greg Oden.
They're tied?
Before the 1984
Wait,
draft,
hold on. I thought Greg Oden was the number 1 draft bust. Well, Anthony Bennett was pretty bad. Anthony will be there as well. Okay.
The Trailblazers needed a center. They needed someone that could battle with Kareem and the Lakers. And they already had an all-star shooting guard, Jim Paxson, and 2 talented young wings in Clyde Drexler and Kiki Vandeweghe. So, they drafted Sam Bowie in front of 3 future Hall of Famers. Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley,
Oh
and John
my.
Stockton.
Oh
Bowie's scouting
my.
report described him as an athletic rebounder, a masterful
He looked
blocker
like a
on defense,
even gayer
and an
Kyle Kuzma.
extremely versatile weapon on offense, who can move well, shoot from outside, and pass better than most NBA centers at the time. The only issue was his left leg, which
Oh.
he broke during his junior year at college.
Injury
But
prone.
Portland's officials determined it was fully healed, and that it would be a non-issue going forward. I can still remember them taking a little mallet, and when they would hit me on my left tibia, I would tell them, I don't feel anything. He ended up playing just 139 out of a possible 410 games in his first 5 seasons. Despite his
wow.
injuries, Bowie has had an 11-year NBA career in which he averaged 11 points,
not bad.
7.5 rebounds, and 2 blocks.
How's that bad?
While Portland's reasoning is understandable, and they drafted what they needed at the time, you can't argue with the results. And because he was drafted in front of Michael
I guess
Jordan,
that's why.
I consider Sam Bowie as the biggest bust ever.
That's not fair to him. That he is definitely not. Just because, no, that's not fair.
Little fault
That's
of his
not
own.
fair. Not fair.
23 years later, history repeated itself. This time, Portland had the first pick, and they decided to spend it on the best
Oh.
center in the NCAA instead of another generational scorer. Greg Oden was supposed to be the next Shaq, and it really looked like he could be the next dominant NBA center.
I don't know
at
about
times.
next Shaq, but
Unfortunately, those times were very short. Oden played just 82 games for the Blazers, after which multiple knee injuries
Yeah.
had forced him to retire at the age of 22,
Oh,
not counting the
gee.
short stint with the Heat. I'm not keen on calling Odin a bust, because the man could really
Yeah,
play
he's-
when he was healthy. But the problem is that he was never fully healthy.
great. That's the problem with Greg Oden. Greg Oden, he gets trashed on for being the biggest draft bust. But I mean, technically he is. He is a bust, even though it's not his fault. Well, it is his fault. It's not. It is.
The team who drafted him
he's a
could have
bust.
drafted Kevin Durant instead. Number 4, Michaeloluwakandi.
Who?
Coming from Nigeria and standing at 7 feet, Michaeloluwakandi had a golden ticket to make it to the NBA. He was big, strong, and athletic, which was enough for him to bully most of his opponents in the NCAA. He dominated the Big West Conference in his senior year, with the averages of 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game, and
That's
was
pretty
named
good.
Big West
3
Player of
blocks.
the Year. It was enough for the Clippers to select him first overall, in front of Vince Carter, Dirk Nowitzki, Paul Pierce, Mike Bibby, or Antoine Jamison.
Okay, well,
When he
not
came to the
Mike
league,
Bibby.
He and everybody else soon realized that his size and athleticism could only go so far. Although Oluwakandi was a solid defensive player, he never developed any sort of offensive game, apart from open dunks and putbacks. The Candyman averaged just 8 points per
Candyman.
game per his career on dreadful
18?
43% shooting, which is unacceptable for any center, let alone the first pick. Number 3, Kwame Brown.
Oh,
At
sorry.
first,
How did I ever forget about Kwame Brown? I tried to erase that from my my brain. I guess. Wow. Sorry.
he was the perfect rags to riches story, not uncommon in the NBA. Growing up surrounded by guns and violence, Kwame Brown kept his behind in the gym, and it paid off. Kwame was a fast and athletic 7-footer who was averaging more than 20 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 blocks as a high school
Oh,
senior.
I remember when he came to
He
the
was named
Lakers.
the best high school player in the country and the greatest talent
He would
of his
serve a
generation.
very
He
important
became
piece,
the first
though.
high school player selected first overall, rejecting multiple offers from the NCAA, which would have been more suited for his basketball and emotional development. But there's simply no turning down Michael
Miguel
Jordan's
Jordan!
millions that come with the first pick. So he became a wizard. And once MJ decided to make another comeback, Kwame also became a teammate of the man who just drafted him, which didn't go so well for him.
Did
After
Michael
an
say he was the
initial
worst
friendship
teammate
between
ever?
a 19-year-old kid and the man twice his age, who many called the GOAT, MJ started to lose his patience with Brown. He berated him at every chance he could.
I bet he
insulted
did.
him like he did Jerry Krause in The Last Dance. Kwame couldn't take it, and he completely lost his confidence and then never regained it.
Damn,
he averaged
Jordan.
just 6.6 points, 5.5 rebounds, and half a block per game
Oh.
in his 12-year NBA career.
Imagine though having like the greatest ever do it there, and you're a 19-year-old kid, probably looked up to him like most basketball player has, and just having him tell you suck and you're absolute shit.
Switching teams with a bust label.
McCall
following
did
him
not help
everywhere he
him.
went.
Let's put it that
Number
way.
2, Darko Milicic.
Oh,
Darko
Darko.
Milicic
So we know
was
number
presented
one
to the
then.
general public as the next star big man from
I
Europe.
forgot about this
and
guy
was
either.
supposed to follow the trend set by Dirk and Pau Gasol. The Pistons, who had the second overall pick, were on the hook. They drafted Darko in front of 3 future Hall of Famers: Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. Coach Larry Brown had a championship team in Detroit, and there were not many minutes for Darko, who handled it very immaturely. He never
Really?
worked hard in practice.
Oh.
He partied almost daily.
Great.
And when he got an opportunity to play, he pouted and isolated himself from the team.
Look at
The Pistons
Matemo.
traded him in his third year, after just 90.
Oh, this guy looks like a quiff.
While Braun, Melo, Wade, and Bosh were all averaging over 20, Darko averaged just 1.6 points, 1.2 rebounds for Detroit. He stuck around until 2013.
Really?
Career averages of just 6 points and 4 rebounds. Number
Lord.
1, Anthony Bennett.
There it is.
25% of all players selected first overall make first-team All-NBA at least once, while 55% of them play in at least one All-Star game. When it comes to Anthony Bennett, not only did he not make an All-Star team, just 4 years after he got selected first overall, he was already out of the league.
Oh,
Far from
boy.
a spectacular college player, Anthony Bennett became the first Canadian selected
Yeah,
as
he
the
was
first
Canadian.
pick of the NBA draft. To much surprise, the whole world. He was picked ahead of Giannis Antetokounmpo,
A lot of
CJ
people were.
McCollum, Rudy Gobert, Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams, and other quality players. Some will say that the burden of the first pick ruined Anthony Bennett, that he never developed his game due to pressure, and that moving from team to team ruined his potential.
That's tough.
That's simply not true. He was just plain bad.
No,
Bennett was inefficient offensively, with a low basketball IQ, and he couldn't guard a chair. He shouldn't have been drafted at all, let alone with the
Ouch.
first pick.
Ouch.
That's why he's the biggest bust to ever play in the NBA.
I didn't realize
Thank
he
you
was
for
the biggest
watching.
bust.
Please don't-
I didn't. I knew he was definitely like a top 3, but I didn't think we. Now that I've seen it, he is the biggest bust. I'm not going to be able to argue that at all. So I'm just glad that a certain ball player was not here, because it would be absolutely ludicrous that he would be. I have seen people make videos like this with him in there, and those people can go straight to HE double hockey stick. Guys, if you got a video you'd like for me to watch or react to, you can tweet me at Troydan under the hashtag TroydanReacts. Thank you for watching, and kids, remain out of trouble.